Hello, welcome back to 喋喋不休，我是喋喋。
我是阿咪。
今天我们要讲的是 correlation is not causation， which
对
是杨幂想的。
Mainly because, right, 我觉得很多人it's very misleading，很多人会用这种 correlation 的东西 and then 把它连接成 it seems like causation, but it's not, right? But I think this is something that is very worth 我们去思考的一个深层思考的一个东西啦 right? Which is, and one of the big examples, which honestly I felt it because the whole time 我一直以为 like it's the truth, right? Which is that 很多人是讲 like there is a very well known phenomenon where 人家讲哦，你喝红酒的话， then 你会 like you will live longer. Like people who drink wine live longer, right? But actually the reason why the people who drink wine live longer is because people who drink wine are usually also have access to better healthcare because they are of better income.
Yeah.
Right. Better healthcare, better food. And then so like this is a good example of correlation, it's not causation. But in 这个 example, it's more 怎样讲啊? It's more murky in a sense that because they are both technically related, like it seems related. Right.
But they're not.
In a more extreme case of correlation is not causation would be that the number of people who are named Sarah, the increase of the number of people who name Sarah is in the same pace as the number of gun shooting violence in America.
Okay.
So this one is a better example of like showing that correlation is not causation, which is that just because they are trending in the same way, it doesn't mean they are related.
就说这里干发的人不可以就不会是 Sarah 的名字。I mean, what I say 不是
it has nothing to do with each other. It's just that just because I put two data together doesn't mean that they
are related.
They are directly impacted. But it's just that if they are in the same category, then it will appear as if they are more related.
哇，可是 OK， 我有一个问题就是有人会放两个 data 不一样的 data 来 做 comparison。
Yeah, it's like 这个红酒的咯. It just seems
they are related, but they are not
related. Yeah,
but it's Sarah like and gun shooting 我不觉得係 related 咯，要怎樣係 related 咧？
No, they are not related. But it's the same as 你喝紅酒跟你的 health 沒有影響的，你懂嗎？ It's just that because it is just seemingly relevant, but it is actually not relevant. 那個紅酒其實跟
health 沒有關係，
活得久不久沒有關係的，其實 it's just that they are finding a commonality 罷了。But the underlying message is that people who are rich have more access to healthcare. But the people who are rich also always drink wine.
Yeah, 所以他們就把它變 related.
Yes. So it's like a marketing technique to a certain extent. It's a headline catching technique lah, to a certain extent. It's like
這些人很厲害，把它變 marketing 以這樣子的也是很厲害一下。
Yeah. It's like let me take an example. It's like saying that people who eat out more often are less likely to be depressed. But 其實這個 is not but the thing is like the underlying theme is that people who eat out usually eat out with friends and family.
So they are not depressing because they are not alone.
They're not as they are less likely to be depressed because they have social support.
Okay, makes sense.
So this is an example of correlation. It doesn't mean that if you're sad, 你出去吃多几次 then you'll be happier.
Yeah, true. 就是如果你有 depression, 你不可能一直出去的话，你就是会好你的 depression.
对对 So this is the example of like correlation is not causation, meaning to say that if let's say take back 那個紅酒的那個 example, right? It's like saying that if let's say 紅酒 can contribute to healthier, then does it mean that 我喝多一點紅酒 then 我就會活久一點 No 嗎？
No.
So correlation is not causation.
I see. So 他們都會拿些很奇怪的 example 來就是把它 somehow related, but they are not related.
Yeah, right? It's the same as like, for example, if you want to say it's like the increase of K-pop concert coincides with the increase, like the decrease of birth rates.
Huh? Sorry, come again. 什么意思 ？Decrease of birth rate. Why?
That's why they are not related. It's just so happen they are trending together. But 我这样子放的话, it appears to be like, oh, because people want to go K-pop concert, they don't want to have kids. But it's not. It's just so happen both things are happening at the same time.
哇，这个 relationship 真的是 OK fine。哇，这样他们也是太好笑了吧？他们把这两个东西来不一样的东西，让他们 combine as a， 然后就看到 a result。对，这个东西是这样子这样子的。
不是 it's not so much of that. It's utilizing. That's why 我觉得这个 topic, the reason why we want to say about this topic is that 我觉得很多人不会去 scrutinize 它。Like just because they put two things together, they are technically not lying.
Yeah,
but
they are not.
它是 leading you to think in a certain way that may not be correct. Yeah.
这样 misleading 其实。
Yeah. Like even the red wine one is very misleading one.
Red wine one. 哦呀咯，因为每次他们讲 red wine 然后你会你心脏会泵比较多血然后你的身体会比较健康 ，which is not correct actually。喝多酒是不好的。
Yeah, I'm not in team 喝酒 whatsoever.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, but 小酌 I think is okay. And it's like, let's say, people who drink red wine also usually, like, let's say they have more social gatherings, and then you also have more, communal support. Then it also helps live longer, I guess. Like it's all circumstantial to a certain extent, right? Like so that's why correlation is not causation is one of the examples, right? Then I also see some examples is that so like another, so we give an example of like the true causation, maybe a more relatable causation 的一个东西 right, would be that the increase of rainy days will increase food delivery sales. 这个是probably
因为 decrease 呢，我觉得它会 decrease 多过 increase 哦。
为什么？
因为如果你是讲 delivery， 如果是 raining day 的话 ，delivery guy 一定不想要帮你 deliver 啊 ，so you will reduce the sales 啊。
不会啊 ，but 有些人 ，but 比较多人会 order 外卖嘛，因为他们不要出去嘛。
不想okay. Yeah, makes sense.
So in a sense, this one is like directly related, or another example that is like directly related would be having a good budget will allow you to retire early. I think this is a direct relation. 因为 if you budget properly, then you can retire early 嘛。
Yeah. 对呀。
Yeah. But an example of correlation is not causation would then be that people who don't drink bubble tea retire earlier.
People who don't drink bubble tea, they retire. Okay. 就好像他们会讲 like, you don't drink bubble tea, then you just save more money, then 你就会 retire early. But then it doesn't mean that 你没有喝 bubble tea, 你就是一定会 retire early. 你可以来花在别的钱。Wait,
exactly.
I think this is like a marketing sales.
It's a headline.
Yeah, 之前比较像那种 marketing headline.
It's just to catch attention 罢了这种东西。So, but I think it's very worth investigating 啦 like for us to think about 的东西。有时候我们看的时候，我们不会直接去想。So there are actually 4 types of relation between two like facts, right? So for example, let me go.
我觉得通常这种 headline 他们只是要让大家，如果是那种没有多想的人比如是我看那 headline 我就会真的相信那个 headline 的人，比如是你这样的人，你就会多想的话，你就会看到那 headline 你就讲let's think about it 之类的东西。
对，
所以我就还比较偏向我这样子的人。
不是 I think it's more of the awareness. 我之前也是 just 看了 I just take it as it is 嘛。But it's just the awareness. So usually, right? 我们要想到的是whenever 2 things are related to like tied together, right? 他们有几个 possibilities, right? One is that A cause B， 但是let's say 有两个东西是 A B 嘛 ，right？
Yeah.
One is A cause B，or maybe B cause A，or A and B are caused by C，which is 我们讲的 commonality 啦。Or it's just pure coincidence。Yeah. Right？ 好像那个 Sarah and shooting 的这种东西，这是 coincidence。It's just coincidental that is they're trending together.
Yeah.
But like caused by C 的 could be that for example 我们讲drinking helps eating outside reduces depression, right? But these two are actually caused by C, which is increased social gathering or having social support.
Oh,
right?
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah, and then like A causes B would then be like, for example, like 我们讲那个 retirement 的咯，就是 like if you have a good budget, then you retire early because these two are like B is a direct relation of A. Right? B is caused by A would then be, for example, people who exercise live longer. But it's because people who exercise
they live
generally
longer.
Take care of their health more.
Yeah.
So they live longer. So it's there's always 4 types of relation between two sets of data.
这样子你想什么？有一种 relationship 是你 walk 10,000 steps， 你就会 have a healthy life.
Oh, 对 and that one, right, actually, right, 10,000 steps, right, it's pure marketing.
Right.
It doesn't make a difference. Yeah. Actually, they say the sweet spot is actually 8,000 something steps. Like, but it's just that 8,000 is not catchy, so they change it to 10K.
Yeah, but 我是觉得没有什么 relation.
There is because if you walk because if you walk more in general, you still use your
you burn more calories lah. Yeah.
And it's technically exercise, and then you know you just there is help in it, but the 10K comes from nowhere. Actually, it's like 8,000 something. Like as long as you move 8,000 something steps, you're fine. 你不用死死 hit 那个 10K. Yeah.
是哦，我以为这是他们一个 like scientific 讲的，要走到 10K 你才会 like a healthier life。我不懂啊，他是讲 10K 是可以更加好，还是最好？忘记了这个 tagline 是忘记了什么鬼。
Minimum is 10K, but then
他讲 minimum 10K, okay.
Yeah, it's not minimum. Actually, 10K is not necessarily. It's actually 800 plus K. 8,000 steps. 800 plus K.
应该要疯掉吧？应该。
800 plus K. 你不睡觉你都走不到这么多，我觉得。
对呀，你会疯掉这我走不完了，还必花几个月走不完了，真的是。
Yeah, 我觉得8K is actually the sweet spot. Like, and I think it's more doable than a lot of things lah.
Yeah, but, even 6K is hard. Okay, nowadays.
Yeah, but 你去旅行就可以 like 20K, then that's like proper exercising 的那种。
Yeah.
But so this is also like one of the fancier things, right? And then like it's another example would then be eating organic food makes you makes you live longer. Actually,
no,
I don't know. No. I don't know how much organic helps, right? But I think if in general you eat generally quite healthily, you're more or less fine.
Yeah.
But it's more that people who can afford organic food can afford better healthcare and can afford and have much less stress in terms of livelihood.
对，这个我赞同。
Not to say that their work no stress, but like they don't have to stress about like 我今天有没有地方睡，我 you know the kind of thing.
有没有钱买东西吃之类的东西，他们就是一个 comfortable life. Yeah.
对 in general, they are living quite comfortably and they don't have to stress about their safety so much, right? So it's a bit more different. So this is again correlation, it's not causation. It doesn't mean that 你吃 organic food that automatically you live longer.
对 ，yeah, more healthier. I don't know. Yeah, healthier. I 真的是觉得 organic 这个东西很，我不知道因为他们讲 organic 啊，其实你在外面买的，你知道它是 organic 还是不 organic 吗？ It just mentioned organic. Yeah, I think 这个是个 organic 的 tagline， 就叫你买多一点 organic.
Yeah, I think if you are allergic to pesticide, okay, buy organic food.
Oh yeah.
That is the only time I feel that it is very valid for you to choose organic food. Then again, I'm not a food nutrition person whatsoever. But I think if you have to eat organic, if organic is too expensive, eating healthy in general is still better.
Yeah.
Right? It's 不是讲你不能吃 organic, then you might as well go eat McDonald's or like junk food.
Yeah.
Right?
可以去买一个 vegetable with pesticide, but then 你可以用一种东西来洗掉那个 pesticide, so it's still okay to eat.
对。
And generally 比较便宜，拜托。
I feel like a lot of it is more health related because fear mongering is one of the marketing techniques also 嘛，就是 fear mongering means 你把弄人家是怕。
Oh yeah, okay.
Right?
Okay.
So fear like 你是弄人家怕， so a lot of these health related things are more 比较好卖 you know, the kind of thing. And so a lot of it is health related that I can think of, but some of it would be then for example 大学毕业比较好找工 like 大学毕业生
think so.
比较会比较有钱 right? I
think it's really
not
no.
I think there is definitely contribution, right? Like it's not directly related, but I feel that yeah. Okay, and I think one example that I personally, this is 我自己觉得的 like correlation is not causation, right? Like college dropouts make more money than uni students. I think this is a very skewed point, skewed data set, right? Because like the uni student, the dropouts that people choose are always the ones that are very rich, but 你不去看那些 in general dropouts and have no other options 的人 right?
对
I think for example,
yeah,
a lot of people use Bill Gates and as an example, or
什么 Grab 的那个 founder 之类的，因为他讲不是
yeah, but
I would think that 那些生意人啊，就是 businessman，他们讲我是 drop out 啊，什么，然后我就可以去开生意啊之类的。其实不是因为他们背景就是一个有钱人。
对 ，like you don't see their connection.
Yeah. 你只看到他
success， it's very different，
你就看到他後面其實是有一座山給你滑。
And again, correlation is not causation, right? Doesn't mean you have a dropout, then you automatically be a successful founder.
Yeah. Yes.
I think there is contribution to say that you don't think in a very square method, right? You are more creative in general, and you're able to survive in society longer, and you're more street smart. Everything. I think that definitely has helped, but it doesn't mean that you are a dropout, then you will be successful. But maybe you are more street smart. I think street smart people can be more successful. That is true. But that is causation. That is not correlation. Right? Because you're street smart, then you're better at talking to people. You're better at talking to people. You're better at negotiation. So like in general, that street smartness is what causes. But even if you have a uni degree, or if you have or don't, right? As long as you're street smart, you generally make it further than a lot of people.
所以 doesn't mean that 你的 education 有多好还是多坏，你就可以 like success or not. It just depends.
Correct. So this is an example. 对。So this is an example of correlation. Like it doesn't cause one another.
Yeah.
It doesn't. You're not successful because you're a dropout.
Yeah.
You are successful despite you're a dropout. That's very different. So I think 这些是值得去思考的 because like especially like you know younger children or like people who trust the media too much sometimes will just take it on a face value, right?
Yeah. 你看到那个还讲 drop out 的话，他会 cause 那些 youngster to think okay 这样 it's okay to drop out because eventually 我会变成很 successful in business, but 他们就是没有想到这个人为什么会 success 啊，这个人为什么他可以 drop out 但还有这样多钱。 To be honest 一个正常的 normal 人 right is I mean 他 background 没有这样有钱的话，
就是普通人啦，那些 normal 啦吧，
就普通人就普通啦 in general 就是很普通那种上班族的家庭，就是那种他们不可能 drop out， 他们就可以去讲我要开一个 like a shop a cafe or something， 他一定是要有一个 capital 嘛。 Hello 你的 capital 从哪里来？ Of course 你的 capital 要从你开始做工那一个 moment 你存下来的 capital， but drop out 就是一开始就是做生意你要怎么样拿到 capital 呢？ then
对
and
actually a lot of it is that they didn't choose to drop out just to drop out. Like some of it is that 可能他们在10几岁的时候 start 了一个小 business, for example, right?
Yeah.
And then to them, it just makes more sense that my business is doing so well. I actually don't need like 我拿了那个 uni degree, it is interfering with my business actually. So I might as well don't do the uni and then like continue with my business because that's more successful than not, right? So I think that is also part of the statistics where it doesn't mean that just because you drop out, you'll be more successful. But there are a lot of nuance to the situation of the why they are more successful. Right?
对。
So 这些东西 is, I think another thing that not say slight tangent, but 我觉得 right, 就是这个 drop out 的 topic, I maybe I'm stubborn lah, right? But 我是那种 right, I find that if somebody, like I can only accept if somebody say that, oh, a uni cert is not important if they have a uni cert and is already successful, and then tell me that actually the uni cert is not useful.
Yeah.
Because 你用过了你才知道嘛。
对。
But it's not fair for somebody who either is not successful or does not have whatever qualifications, whatever masters or PhD or whatever, right? Or whatever qualifications they deem not important, because you actually don't know if you actually use it or not, right? You know what I mean?
对。
It's the same as 我觉得 it's the same as 你 imagine 啊，如果你有一个亲戚，他很有钱，and 他跟你讲 actually money is not the most important thing in the world. Like I would give up like all my money to have something, you know, like for example, like some people will say that I will give all my money to have a child, for example. 因为有些人真的要孩子 for example, right? But it's very different for somebody who has no money and tell you that actually money is not important.
Yeah. Exactly.
You will discount it so much more. So I have always
我不会相信他讲的东西。
对，我一路来我都觉得 if you want to say something is not important, you better have it first.
Yeah.
I would discount it very severely if you don't have it, and 我会觉得你是酸葡萄。
是，我也是这样觉得。我觉得如果你没有拿到那个 uni cert 还是什么 whatever cert 啦，就是你就讲哦，其实我不需要这些东西。OK， 如果你是那一种已经自己有自己的 business， 说你已经开始在做 business 了，你17岁的时候你开始有 business， 说你去了 uni， then 你就觉得哦，这 uni 好像没有对我有什么造成什么影响到我的 business 我的 life， 所以我就 drop up，then 我再继续我的 business，then 你就跟我讲其实那个 cert 也没有很重要。那时候我就真的是不懂要不要。
I also think that I feel like it's like that, right? You didn't experience it. What are you comparing it to? You know what I mean?
But 他 experience 了他的 business， 所以他跟我讲
But he didn't experience his business as a person who has the cert. And we're not talking about, we're using the cert as an example, right? But we're talking about in general, right? It's like saying that if I were to say, I think having a kid is so much harder than not having a kid. I think this is a public consensus, correct? But I actually cannot say from my experience because I don't have a kid.
True.
You know what I mean? Of course, I can think from another person's perspective and I can imagine it's much easier to not have a kid than to have a kid. But I actually cannot tell you for sure because I don't know.
Yeah, true.
你懂我的意思吗？
就是我们不能跟你讲多么辛苦 ，sorry， because 我们真的没有 experience。But 我可以跟你讲，我觉得有孩子是一个很累的事情，
应该会对
应该会很累的事情。But if it's true or false， 我不知道要怎样跟你讲，是不是？我真的没有 experience，so I cannot tell you. Maybe 你觉得有孩子是一个很 lovey-dovey 的一个，哇哦，很开心，你会有很幸福的感觉。我 experience 不到 ，so I cannot tell you the.
Exactly. It's like from my perspective, 我会觉得哇，我做什么东西都好，我多一个孩子的话，我应该会累死。But 有些人就会觉得我因为有这个孩子，所以我有更多 motivation 的做东西。But for me, I cannot relate.
I also cannot relate.
So I don't know. Again, I don't know, right? 我这种东西我们两个都不知道的东西 so it's a bit harder to explain.
Yeah.
And I feel like 很多东西 it's we're not supporting or dissuading anything lah, right? Because I feel that 每个人有自己的 preference, and then like I have friends who would like we all know people who would go through so much trouble to have a kid.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Like go through IVF and 要备孕 and everything like that. And there are also people who just
还是什么鬼东西啊
Yeah. So like, there are a lot of correct. So like not everybody's values are the same. Not everybody's execution level is the same also. So it's very different, and I don't really think that 有很多东西可以概括 altogether. But at the same time, it's like it's not so simple in general, right? But and going back to 那个 correlation is not causation, right? I feel like the reason why I think this is a very important topic to also discuss is then to just enhance critical thinking. I think critical thinking is one of those skills that is very important, and we should always sharpen it, right?
Yeah.
Like you need to consider a lot of there's a lot of reasons why people tell you certain things, and sometimes it's to sway you a certain ways.
Yeah.
That's why I actually took an interest in marketing. Yeah, I wanted to see like what marketing is doing, like what are they using to sway us, you know? And it works.
Please.
Okay, I give you 一个 example, right? Do you know that 如果你去百货公司你懂在 eye level 的那些柜子 is much more expensive than 上面跟下面的柜子
Really?
Yeah, because eye level 的话 right 人家会看到比较多 The probability of 人家买你的东西 is much higher. So actually those are the items that have the highest margin also.
No, but okay, the higher margin maybe lah, but then really? 因为我每次看我没去家乐国色，我去那个 snack 的区，它中间那一排都是 Malaysian brand 啊，然后它下面那个才是最贵的那个啊。But then 你讲 it is profit margin, then I don't know 啊 because 我也不知道它的 cost 是多少。
因为 a lot of shopping, a lot of like 那种 more like it depends 啦，他们是 most of them is on consignment basis. And 很多是 depend on 你的 like some of it is 你要还那个钱的。Meaning to say like if you 你要放中间的 rack, 你要还中间的 rack 的钱。
Oh, is that so?
Because it's consignment basis.
Oh, yeah.
That's why like it's either depending on 他们的 contract, like the contract lah, right? It's whether or not you buy the location, the shelf space, or it's a margin basis. So meaning to say that you sell them at a lower price, then they can sell it at state market price, right? But their margins are much higher, then they want to put it there so that people will buy. Basically, whatever in the center is the ones that they want you to buy first.
这让我想到一个东西，你懂吗？我去的是一个 mall，把我有一个 influencer 的 mask， 就在那个 mall 里面有，它不是 mall 啦，是一个 grocer 这样的啦。然后他就那个 influencer 的 mask， 你知道的 influencer 的 mask 就摆在中间诶，就它摆在中间。
because they want to boost sales, right?
That makes sense. 我每一次有看到它，就它在我中间，它下面是其他的 product， 它中间那个就是它的最 sales 最 top sales 的 product， 就是 top sales 它就会放中间。
That's why 如果你看 right, if you notice a lot of the 那种 in-house brand 的那种 products, right, it's always at the lower right， 因为 margin 不高。
这样我改天去一个来这种 grocer， 我就会去看一下到底它的 product 会怎样。这样如果我要买便宜的东西，我是不是应该要往下面看或者往上面看 ，instead 我在中间？
你要看上看下，对，因为中间的 usually is like the ones that are higher margin. So in general, so it depends on whether or not the shop managed to cut a good deal, right? But most of the time, 上面下面的是 the less popular one per se. 因为 people cannot see it.
好像是这样子没有错的话，真的好像是。
因为你跟我们买东西 ，yeah， 因为你看我们买东西 ，right？ 我们也 unless we already know, okay, I'm looking for this particular drink， then 你就会去找 then it's at the bottom out, then 你会去拿它。But if you're just there to view， 你就不会去看到上面下面的凹。可是你看那些 plaster 啊什么啊，它在下面的，因为你需要的时候你才会去买，你才会去找它。
好像 make sense 哦，好像通常是有点难找这些 item，which is 我们没有
对，就是
我们没有真正的
对，就是你要找的时候你才会对，
然后会在很奇怪的角落，你就会觉得为什么还会在这种奇怪的角落？
对，所以 I think that's one of the interesting like marketing things that I see lah. But correlation, using correlation to give you 一个 perception of a different thing is a very normal thing lah. Actually, like it's a very common thing that people use.
可是为什么他们要这样子做啊？做的人家就会 attract 人家。
Because technically it's not lying.
But
it's technically not lying.
It's not lying, but then it's not a fact.
They didn't say it's causing it. They just said that it is correlated.
So it's like 他给你这个 tag，let's say 他给你这个来一个 tagline 之类，就是让你自己自由发挥想象，你到底要想什么都可以。But it doesn't mean that it's a fact.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that it's a fact. That's right, exactly. It's just saying that it is
a statement.
Related. Yeah, that's it. Like it's not that serious in a sense.
Then 为什么要这样骗人哦 ？OK 啦 ，this is not lying, but then 对我来讲会是一个骗人的东西耶。
So basically, right? But 我觉得这种东西是，it's just to think about 啦。Like sometimes it's 因为我觉得现在 nowadays the social media is really just about catching attention.
Yeah,
like, people just would say shit just to catch attention at this point. Like you saw that just like I've seen one that I think low key pissed me off a little bit. It's like 谁结婚了 question mark. Then after that you go inside and you're like actually they're filming a new show. Then you're like what the hell? Like it's just it's a clickbait. It's a clickbait basically.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of in order to unfortunately engagement is the calculation of the success rate of an article nowadays, right? It's not the usefulness anymore. So like a lot of it is clickbait-ish to a certain extent.
就是那种他们要 tagline 写到好像很惊悚啊，或者很 like 哇 it's a wild thing， but then 你进去的时候你就觉得怎么来的，不要浪费我人生时间。就是好像人家 YouTuber 也是这样子，他就会写一个 tagline， 好像我做了什么事情还是很厉害这样，其实就是进去里面你就是看一个很废的东西，在那边讲谈话节目而已。但是他的那个title就会写到很像macam yes 这样，你知道吗？就是骗你要进去你的 view 这样。不喜欢。
Yeah, okay. Another example would then be, I think, another example that is more close to home lah, right?
Yeah.
That for a lot of people is that the increase in cost of living has caused the decrease in birth rate, right? I think there are some relation, right? But I also think 很多人 it's not so much of the cost of living. It's just that we have, like, I think one of it is that back in 我们的 like maybe 我们上一个 generation, it is still very inherent when it comes to like 我们还是有 inherit some of the previous generation, which is that 你结婚了就要生孩子 because that's the most normal natural thing to do, right? But because 我们的 like once we pass the next generation, 我们就 a bit more I think it's an evolution, right? Like basically it's also like 以前女子没有什么 rights, and then they cannot really work, so like a lot of it is to have kids, right? Then after that 到我们的 parents 的 generation 就已经很多去开始做工了。
对，
女子比较有
Yeah.
Not just 没有时间 it's also like there's a lot of like there's also a whole other conversation to talk about regarding the career for women in particular when 你有孩子。So 你这些东西很多 opportunity cost. The increase of opportunity cost, I feel, of having kids is the reason why the birth rate is low.
Yeah. Anyway,
so
yeah.
But I think this is a topic for another day.
Yeah.
我觉得moral of the story is drinking red wine doesn't make your life longer. I think that's the moral of the story. Like
不要喝太多红酒哦，大家会伤身体哦。
and also think about it, okay? Like if the product is free, then you are the product. 我觉得 this is something that I really hold close to home. Yeah. Sometimes if it's free, think about it. Is it really free? Is it at what cost?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Bye.